Alright, so I got a strange notification on my phone from CNN about furries. And this is the article they directed me to, Inside the Misunderstood Culture of Furries. I thought this would be an interesting dive to go into, so I have not read the article yet, so I saved it for you guys as we read it together.
Ooh, I'll be joining you folks today as well.
Yeah, we got Mr.
I know
Alex here.
you're one of the furry capitals of the world, unfortunately.
Yeah, so we have an expert on.
No, I've seen him a couple times, but I would not call myself an expert by any means, nor do I ever want to be associated with the furry community.
Okay, you're the closest thing we have to an expert, we'll say it that way. So, this is how the article starts. The furry community has a message for the rest of the world. Their culture is not about sex. Right off the bat. I'm
Yeah, that's
calling
false.
bullshit.
No, that's completely false. I actually saw a documentary on the history of furries, and like you can tell, if they weren't about sex, they would like they have a small portion who's like not about sex, but a good percentage of them are definitely sexually active. Like use furries as sexual, a means, a conveyance. Like just go on the internet, look how much furry porn there is out there. You'll probably find more furry porn than actual porn. That's saying something on the internet.
go
Like if
go
you
to
look at the
DeviantArt.
history, oh yeah, just go into DeviantArt. But like, no, seriously, the sexual aspect, it's there. Like I read this documentary on YouTube. It
You
was about
read
this
this
guy.
documentary.
Well, not this one, but there was another documentary. Like some guy told his experiences in the furry community, and like he was a little kid. And he kept having these guys like try to go and like when he was 14, they try to get in his pants, and like
Jesus.
it's not just like sexuality. It's a lot of homosexuality, bisexuality, because like 80% are men, and you don't know what's on the other side of that fursuit when you dive deep into it. It could be a man, could be a woman. You don't know. It's like a glory hole, but a human glory hole. Well, that's in a fursuit. But like no, like if you look in the history of it, like it all started. Like one of the big things was shoot, what was that video? It was it the fox. No, no, no. It was like Fritz the cat. That's what it was. That was one of the big like moments in furry history. The first furry film, and there's a
Yeah.
lot of sex involved in there, a lot of nudity. Like I saw part of it on Netflix when I was a kid, so I was like, "Ooh, what's this? Is that like that old cat, like Felix the cat?" But no, it was not Felix the cat. Not by any means, but like then this other guy, I think it was Into the Rabbit Hole, and they talked about it, and like they tried to go and get the sex perverts out, and it did not work out very well because like a good portion of them are very sexually active. Now there might be some people who are not sexually active, and it's
Yeah.
hard getting numbers on these things because they're not going to say it, but there's some evidence like they've had what was it, Rain First that got shut down because people were, they were like leaving used condoms everywhere, and diaper fetish, and that's a sexual fetish. I generally view that as a sexual fetish, and they like clogged the, like the hot tubs with diapers that were soiled, and yeah, it's definitely a sexual thing. Like just to say that it's not sexual is to feign ignorance. That's like saying the Nazis weren't about racism or something. You
Yeah.
know, like it's kind of par for the course. Like that would be like saying that a big like a large gentleman doesn't eat large amounts of food. Like, I mean, there might be one or two people that have some crazy genetic abnormality, but most of them get that way because they eat food
Yeah,
and they don't
exactly.
exercise. But yeah, so this article is, prime piece of CNN trying to get normalize a very abnormal and for a good reason culture. Like they've had a lot of high profile furries get in trouble recently for among other things raping animals and trying to like get sex from children. This is a big high profile thing, and they're trying to do damage control. Like why is CNN like going in on this damage controlling the furry community? They don't need any assistance. Like it's why is this hill gonna be the one CNN's gonna die on? Like they do a bunch of stupid crap, but this is just like the cherry on top of like of like the shit urinal.
Oh, it gets better though, like because they're trying to really debunk this. Yeah, like they said, it's a misunderstood culture, so they're trying to debunk all the myths here, and they go further. They say, in fact, people in the furry community are largely annoyed about how their community has been generally been portrayed by mainstream media outlets. So CNN's gonna separate themselves from the pack here, folks. Most feel like depictions of sexual fetishes wearing fursuits and converting at wild parties and inaccurate and downright unfair. Say
You know,
experts. Who the
it's
fuck are
true.
these experts?
It's pretty true. Like if you actually seen these people, like yeah, some of them are nice people, I imagine, but the good percentage of them, like they had to pull on their own website, 20% admitted to like bestiality.
Oh yeah.
It was like 20%. They're into 18.4% are self-identified zoophiles, and this is from like one of their websites. This is an article, and like I found this on Quora or whatever the heck that website is,
Cora.
and that was a poll on WikiFur. And there's probably more than that, like I imagine, because like especially these leaks that came out recently, and I saw this on the kill stream a while ago, back before they got like destroyed by the Wall Street Journal and then forced to hide. Like they were doing a lot of actually good work, and like Mr. Medicare did a lot with that too, with the furry community, because like they were like really really bad people in there. Not all of them, but a larger amount, a significantly larger amount than I'd feel the general population. They go on these servers like they had a specific app. I forget the name of it. It was some like encrypted text app, and they go and like send pornography, both animal, like real animals, and then like child pornography to each other. Like this is beyond disgusting material, and they're trying to defend this.
See, and they don't make it even better when they say they're made up of old and young, all genders, CEOs, blue collar workers, singles, couples, parents, students, LGBTQ, and straight. I find the straight
Okay.
part hard to believe, and
Well,
all who celebrate fantasy animal characters with human traits.
okay, well, let's actually talk about this. Like sexuality, I saw another poll, and like a minority of them were heterosexual. It was like like 30 some percent, like 32% were heterosexual, and most
Yeah.
were either homosexual or bisexual. Like this is, I mean, and then like when you look at the regular population of how many people are homosexual versus heterosexual, like most people, like I think 2% are not like are homosexual,
Yeah, it's about 2%.
something like that. And then when you have over 30% are homosexual and bisexual, that's a very very significant proportion. So this is, I'm not, nothing wrong with being gay. I'm just saying that this is a lie. This is straight up fake news from
Straight
CNN.
up.
And all genders, like I guess like sex wise, like 80% are men.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a couple girls in there, but I would like, if there was this few girls in a company, they would say it's all men who work there. The same news outlet. That's what CNN would say, because they're pushing an agenda this time.
I love this part. How do they celebrate? To each their own. The different ways run the gamut. For example, do you have an unusually powerful fascination with Bugs Bunny? Well, then you might be a furry.
No. Like maybe if your unusual fascination involves sticking carrots up his ass, yeah, then that might be a furry. If you watch Bugs Bunny pornography, that might be a furry. Yeah, it might. I mean, there's some people just like watching cartoon pornography, but then if you just like Bugs Bunny, you have a Bugs Bunny fursuit, then yeah, that's definitely that's a furry. If you have a fursuit, that's a furry. If you like to watch furry porn, then you're a furry. Like it's not that hard of something for people to get, in my opinion.
When the part where they start talking about the fursona, they're talking to this furry named Joe Strike, and he's author of a book called Furry Nation.
More like abomination.
Oh god! I mean, I have to admit their puns are kind of funny because they're so cringe that it actually makes me laugh in a very disturbing way, but it's pretty funny. Um, But yeah, the it goes on to normalize it. Oh god, they're talking about the original con fur ants.
Oh, jeez, I think that was in that one documentary I saw. Like, here's the thing, like they're trying to go and make it so that like furries are the new gay people. Like, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of gay furries out there, but they want to turn into a sexuality, but at the same time saying it's not a sexuality. They want to make it like a new protected
Well,
class.
they're also like kind of not to interject, they're also trying to normalize it like this guy says. He's saying, that it's kind of like Star Trek or Star Wars where you dress up as these characters. It's a completely different thing.
No, most people don't want to go and like dress as Chewbacca and bang other Wookiees. It's strange. It's a form of zoophilia that goes on with this. It's not just regular watching Star Wars. You can watch this even if you love Star Wars, even if you're a Star Wars nerd. Like it's a completely other thing when you go and watch like Star Wars pornography. When you go to like it's just like outlandish too.
Yeah.
It's like Star Wars. Yeah, there's humans, and you might have like a Chewbacca in there. But when you create your own OC furry, and you make furry, deviant art stuff, like yeah, if you make Star Wars deviant art, it's still not the same because furries it's its own sort of phenomenon that's separate and different than what you would see in a traditional fandom.
I like how
Like
he says, if you honestly believe that furry fandom is about costuming, then you're missing the point. Says Rod Stanfield, perhaps better known in the community by his pen name, Rod O'Reilly. Saying furry fandom is about wearing fursuits is like saying Star Trek fandom is about wearing pointy ears. See, they even
no,
admit, like, that it's more than just this.
No, like I mean, yeah, you have some people out there who don't like wear fursuits, but they generally either consume or create this OC content.
Mm-hmm.
Like and they'll pay you a lot of money because they like think that they're this like wolf or something. Like they had a guy on Stefan's show, and that was like one of the first things that really turned me on to him.
Turned.
Like his show, not sexually or anything, but
You attracted to Stefan?
no, no, I'm sorry, I don't roll that way. But no, like he had this guy who wanted to be like a North American river otter. That was his persona. And he admitted, I think there was, I think he did admit there was like a sexual aspect to it. But like, it's different than another. It's like a complete escapism because you can go and watch a movie and it's a little bit of escapism, but then you're creating your own contents. Like, I mean, you can write fan fiction too, but it's so outlandish when you're this like crazy beast versus your Star Trek character.
Mm-hmm. Well, they have a section here on furry lingo. It's a subculture just like any other, including unique terminology. For example, a gray muzzle is an older member of the furry fandom. Bronies are fans of the My Little Pony toy TV movie
Well,
franchise.
well, here's the thing too. Like, there's a lot of bronies out there who weren't even like necessarily furries. Like, that was its own
And
thing
isn't
back
it
in the
just men who are into My Little Ponies or bronies?
day. I think so. That's
Yeah,
what I
they're
see,
mis
bro.
they're misdefining it here, or they're broadening the definition. Just fans of the show.
Well,
Aetherian,
that was a completely different fandom too, because
yes.
it's. I mean, it was its own cultural phenomenon. I think most bronies are either converted to full furry or they just left.
They
Like I don't
convert.
know if the show even goes on anymore.
It's like a fucking religion you're converting. A
Well,
th-
it used to be like really, it'd be really popular back when I was in high school. Then just kind of like I haven't heard as much about. It. I don't know if they still do their things, but it was like its own. It was its own separate thing from furries. I think.
I think so too, but I think it's kind of like they're kind of like the trannies of the gay community. Like, even though the gay community literally has nothing to do with trannies, like they somehow got lumped into it for some sort, some similarities, and now they've kind of like conjoined like two twins or something.
I don't even think that there's that many bronies left now. Like there's probably a few, but like they're probably more furry than brony at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Aetherian is someone who feels an intense spiritual identification with a non-human animal. So bestiality, in other words. A baby fur is interested in age play. Fucking age play. And
Yeah, yeah. You know what a baby fur is, right? They go and wear diapers
oh,
and they
that's what they're
shit.
saying. That's just saying it's age play and younger child. People who are interested in age play and younger childlike characters. So you basically play a baby.
Yeah, they're giving you the very PC version of that.
Yeah.
These are basically like people who rape puppies. They'll dress up like they've had people like that, and then they'll dress up in they'll wear their fursuit and they'll diaper and they'll shit themselves, and they'll go and like waddle around that, then like throw it around and be the. They're some of the worst out there because a lot of these people are into pedophilia.
Yeah.
Not all of them, mind you.
Hashtag
And
not
some
all
of them are
furries.
just really messed up in the head, and they just soil themselves. And then in the one conference, I think they like threw the soiled diapers. Either I think it was either out in the like lobby or it was in the hot tubs, and they caused the filter to break, causing like thousands of dollars in damage due to their autism.
Furries are destructive. It gets better. Milfers are furries who are current or past members of the military.
Ooh.
I didn't think they could exist in the military. Here's one more. Great. Furries who are interested into costumes are called fursuiters. And yes, hashtag Fursuit Friday is a real hashtag on social media.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, there's a fucking research project called fursides.com.
Well, yeah, they probably should track these people, like put them on a government watch list, same way that they do like Megan's Law.
It's like Kate's Law.
Well, they need to go do like like they need to go and like check that. Cause I bet there's a high coincidence of furries and being sex offenders.
Well, it says it's a group of scholars who track furry attitudes and backgrounds by asking them to answer questions on surveys. Quote, demographically, it's mostly white. Oh,
Yeah.
they must be racist then.
Well, I remember that one time we were at that anime convention. There was a well, yeah, I think she was white. Her boyfriend was black. But
Yeah.
that was one of the few female furries I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, they're getting more diverse, maybe.
But no, like, wouldn't that be like the shit? You're going to college and you're like, oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do a research paper on furries.
Should I do it?
Or like they end up like shoving you like, oh yeah, you're working at the research department. Guess what? We're going to throw you on. What? Oh, you're furries. That's going to be your research project. You be sure to talk to your friends and family about this.
Yeah, try to find one interview. I'm sure you
Oh,
know
don't worry.
one.
Don't worry. I'll do a CNN article so that when you say that you're interviewing furries, you'll make it look like you're not interviewing like prospective pedophiles and animal rapists.
Yeah. Yeah, they're just furry. Yeah, was it, I'm not a monster, I'm a furry.
It's just I think it's just like childishness, but like these people, I think there's a combination of like sort of because they're not really incels because they're homosexual, but like just people who are probably, I mean, this is completely conjecture too. I mean, I imagine that there's probably a lot of mental illness of some variety. I honestly do think there's probably a decent bit who are autistic because this antisocial personality disorder, like it's like if you're in the regular state of mind, if you're probably not going to be a furry. You'll
No.
probably like you have to have a sort of like social disconnect to be a furry.
Well, they give us the demographic breakdown even further, just so you get the insight of what a furry is. This project says that more than 75% of furries are under the age of 25, and about a third identify as, quote, exclusively heterosexual.
So that means 3/4 of them are
Gay.
Yeah, something on the gay umbrella.
Yeah. 60% of furries who answered surveys report a part-time or full-time enrollment in post-secondary education. Quote, they often like video games, computer games, board games, anime, science fiction, fantasy.
Yeah, so I think a lot of these guys are like neckbeards who don't. Yeah, they're a bunch of nerds probably who go out and instead of going to parties and drinking or like, doing something relatively normal, they decide to dress up in a fursuit. And while everyone else is like, doing cool things, they go and dress in a fursuit, go to furry conventions, and get do a lot of them do drugs too and engage in dangerous sex acts. Like I even heard that like AIDS is becoming a problem within the furry community because they just Like when you see the fur, like
Are
if you
they
don't have like a
Catholic?
little AIDS logo on you, like you don't know who you're really banging. You know, it could be someone it's completely different. Just anonymous sex, especially anonymous gay sex, is very conductive to the HIV virus. Now, I mean, they have PrEP and stuff these days, but these people, from what I understand, the furry community, they don't seem like the type that could even like make their own bedroom, let alone take a PrEP like once a day.
Mm.
Like this is gonna be the next big, I think, AIDS vector in the future.
Fucking furries. uh, they're gonna be the next fucking like AIDS movement. You know, like
Well, they'll be
save
the
the
next, I think,
furries.
big slot because a lot of these people, and they don't mention any of these, at least not yet, like these incidents of like just disgusting sex acts where they'll like rape animals or like try to rape children. They don't mention that at
Mm-hmm.
all. And that's a serious issue. And that's one of the things people see now, and they pretend it doesn't exist. They need to bring up those leaked conversations because that's a significant portion
Now, for
of.
anybody that's a regular viewer starts jumping on this, um, just because I do not go to parties and hate drinking doesn't mean I'm a furry. I'm not
Well,
a
yeah, like it's
furry.
more than that. Like it's more than being an incel. It's
Hey,
the
I'm not an
combination of
incel.
things. Well, like these people have like these people end up having like honestly, I think these are like I mean they could just be regular homosexuals. While a lot of these people probably just like
No,
couldn't
they're
find a
different.
girlfriend, and they and it's not like just sexual deviance. I think because I was told that
Yeah.
a lot of them. Like I saw this documentary, and this guy he was involved with the furry community for a while. And a lot of them they're like extremely sexually like active, and it's not just normal stuff. They're into like all sorts of crazy kinks. So it's a very sexually aggressive, sexually active community.
Yeah, they're
And that's
kinky.
probably why you see a lot of, disgusting acts going on.
It's like
With
50 shades of fur.
50 Shades of Fur, yes.
Oh, this is weird. It continues to say dancing is also big among fursuiters. So I almost said furs. It's hard reading this language. In addition to costume dance events and conventions, night spots have been getting involved. That's right, tap into that market. For more than a year now, the Eagle Bolt Bar in Minneapolis has been hosting Suit Up Saturdays. Where 20 to 30 fursuiters show up every week, the bar says. An overwhelming percentage, 84%, identify as male.
I told you a lot of them are men, and there's a lot of them are gay. They admitted that. But even the ones who like say they aren't gay, a lot of them they'll have something where they say they're not gay, but they're actually like they're I'm straight. I'm having sex with a female, or like my fursona isn't gay, or like I'm not gay, but my fursona is, or my fursona is a woman, and so that's why I'm being penetrated by a man. Like they have these mind games that they play
Mental
where they're first,
gymnastics.
yeah. So then when they suit up, it's not gay when they have sex with a man, even though they're a man. Like they kind of tell themselves that.
Now, doesn't that sound like a bit of a gender gap, though? 84% male? There must be a patriarchy in the furry community that's holding women back from being represented. Well, color me shocked. Guess what? A female artist in the community who calls herself Ink Tiger says the mostly male fandom hasn't been a big problem for her. Quote, there's some sexism in the fandom, as there is in any part of society, but I don't think it's any more pronounced in furry than anywhere else. Well, bitch, you're gonna be surprised soon because I bet many of them are gonna be crying sexism because that is a big ass gender gap. 84%.
I don't think like I mean I knew the one girl at the anime convention, but like I don't think most of them really. I just don't think girls have as much of a desire to do this crazy crap. And that might have something to do because, like, honestly, I do think a lot of these people might have some form of autism, and that's really like no. You can look at statistically; it's a lot more likely for a man to have that. So I think that might play into it.
True, and guess what? Men are also more sexually like aggressive. Like they want to fuck more than women, and that's further proves our theory or fact,
Well,
I
I
should
know
say,
that.
that this is a
Well,
male dominant. This is a sexually
I
driving
don't know.
fandom.
I do know that there's a lot of women who have a lot of the thoughts out there, but I don't
I
think
know, but they
they
wouldn't do
wouldn't go
this.
through. They won't go to this stuff though. I think a lot of this is like sort of out of desperation for men.
Yeah,
They don't want to get involved with the regular gay community. They want to do this because
it's not good enough.
they might be like really disgusting. Aesthetically. I'm thinking. I mean, a lot of probably obesity in this community, but but there's a lot of drug use too. So they might just be like just weird people. And that might be why they suit up.
That's what it's make it sound like it's fucking like, some like movie where they say suit up, like where they're about to like, put on some like armor or something like to go fucking like do a crusade or go on like a ops raid.
Oh my! No, they're just gonna suit up to go to get their little
Yes.
gifts.
Yeah. Oh, we're getting to the yiffing part here. This is great. They say, but what do researchers say about fursuiters and sexual fetishes? Quote, we find that with most furries and their fursuits, there's no sexual element to it for the vast majority of fursuiters, says Plante. It's because they want to be a cartoon character in the real world. He's a bit out of touch. But just like any other group, furries acknowledge a small element of sexual activity during their gatherings. In the community, it's known as yiffing. Well, if it's so small, why does it have a fucking name that everybody kinda knows? Yiffing can refer to anything from affectionate hugging, oh, it's a broad definition here, or nuzzling to totally going at it, says Strike. It's definitely part of the fandom, but it's not what the fandom is all about. If I had to throw a percentage around, I would say maybe 50%, give or take.
No, no, no. I mean, they might just like a lot of them. They just go and like have sex with animals. Like 18%
Well, and
admit.
this is the 15% that you know of, if we're going to be accurate.
I think it's probably closer to 50% to
Yeah.
75%. Probably it's closer to 75% have a sexual aspect to it, whether it be the artwork and masturbation, like fanization of the furry, sexual acts or engaging in the sexual acts themselves, because it's a big problem with the furry community. And when they have like articles like this that go and try to defend it, it's not helping them solve the problem. They need to solve the problem by getting the people out who are disgusting people,
Yeah.
like actual pedophiles, to get them out if they want to, you know, be anything more than like a group of social outcasts, more or less degenerates. Because that's kind of what they're doing. Like that's what they're known for.
Yeah.
Like when when you have these big leaks as a community, and if you don't want to be known as a sex fetish, you guys need to go and do a better job representing yourself,
Yeah.
because there's a lot of that going on. Like I'm sure there's some who aren't, but those people need to either like break away and form their own things. I know they try to do that before, with limited success, and like have a renewed effort in that, or they need to abandon the furry community altogether. Which honestly, I think that's probably the best way, because there's more and more of these leaks keep coming out, and people like it's just disgusting. People don't want to be associated with that. If they know that
Yeah.
you're involved with this like almost like pedophile animal rape cult, who's going to want to associate with that? Like that's why there's a stigma, because the furry community has not adequately addressed these charges, to the best of my knowledge.
Yeah. They should start a hashtag called hashtag furry leaks.
We need to find a furry to go and like talk up and like to put on here. I want to go and see
Yes.
what their thoughts are.
Yo, any
If
furries listening, fucking message us, email us, message us, Complo or
yeah,
something.
comment.
We would love to get in contact and have you on the show. But I'm gonna try and wrap this article up here. But I love this subheadline here. It says, "Can the furry fandom heal?" A lot of furries have some kind of bullying history. Researchers found they reported, quote, significantly more bullying than the average person. According to furscience.com, sounds like a reputable source, 61.7% of furries report being bullied from the ages of 11 to 18. Now, let me pause this for a second and like look at this. Okay, anybody that's different in society is going to get bullied. I understand that. As somebody who has been bullied, I get that. But these people, these people are also bullies themselves. Like I've seen some of the shit they say online. It can be pretty nasty. Um, And it goes on to compare it to other rates of people, but they're very extreme groups, so of course they're going to get bullied more. Research shows that furries benefit from interaction with like-minded others in a recreational environment, which is associated with greater self-esteem and greater life satisfaction. I mean, you can say that about anything of people that are different. Like I'm happier being among right-wing people at college. We're a minority, but that's why I'm happy to be around because they're like-minded people. Strike explains it this way: when they put on the fursuit and they become somebody else, it is very liberating. You sort of left behind that human person with those inhibitions and problems. You become this kind of free spirit. You become somebody else who you're not the rest of the time. Now, I want to emphasize this part strongly because this guy right here explains the exact reason why people turn to this fetish. It is people that cannot handle their own problems, people that cannot change or that don't want to change. So they become somebody else or try to because they don't like the reality, and so they try to alter it. They try to, escape. Like everybody, uses escapism to get away from their problems, but these people go to the extreme by dressing up as fucking animals, literally, to get away from their problems because they're scared of themselves. They don't want to face reality. They're weak people that don't want to change. And this is a problem. This is not helping them by dressing up as furries. This is helping them just dust away their problems and, try to avoid it. That's what they are. They're avoiding their problems. They're scared. Uh, and look what it says. The Phantom tends to be shy. Imagine my shock. Costumes make it easier to socialize without fear of being judged. Bottom line, research shows that for the most part, they have more normal than you think. That's a bit of bullshit. Um, Last part here is on the future of furries. The future looks bright to be for the furry fandom. Ponte explained the fandom is between 100,000 and 1 million people and growing. Ooh, I don't think it'll ever become mainstream because it's an unusual hobby to have. No shit. But they're basically hoping it to become normalized. If normalization does come via movies, Stanford hopes technology will pave the way for it by making it cheaper and easier for furries to make Hollywood quality films. The turning
Oh,
point. The turning point will be when we get to the level where a fan can make a Pixar movie in their garage. Okay, that's not gonna fucking happen for anyone. When that happens, more and more the entertainment community is going to notice. I mean, well, when I say that's never gonna happen, I mean it's gonna happen probably, but that's gonna take like many years. But it's not gonna happen for just furries. It's gonna happen for just people that will have like programs that can do that, and you kind of do with like Adobe Maya. But like Jesus Christ, what an
I just
article!
I just found some breaking information.
Breaking furry news.
Yeah, so I looked it up, and they say that around 15% of furries have admitted to having autism.
Well, there you go, and that's the ones
And
that
that,
admit to it.
well, yeah, and the average amount of autism, like in the society, is 1%. So this is 15 times more likely to be autistic. So there was a large percentage of them, compared to the general population, who are autistic.
That's not good.
Especially considering how few furries there are in the general community. So that's not really that surprising. I think there's a large percentage of that, and I think there's a large percent who are sexually deviant. But yeah, I'm actually kind of interested in what this first science has out there
Yeah, we should go to
because,
this website.
well, they have a Twitter account. That's why I sent you the link, and they had some information on that. Oh, they actually have this article in there.
Wow, spreading the
They
word.
Yeah, they tweeted that, but yeah, they found around 15% are autistic. So I think that's actually probably going to be a lot higher, honestly, because the antisocial personality, things of just being in a fursuit. I have a hard time seeing a regular average person, just off the street who didn't have any sort of prior, might like mental condition, like maybe schizophrenia, maybe autism, maybe, a high level of depression and like, ODD, some sort of disorder. Yeah, it's just not a normal thing.
Yeah, I know this isn't normal, people. I mean, I don't think we have to tell you that, but we kind of fucking do have to in 2018. Oh my
Yeah, like
god.
they're trying to normalize it, but like it's
It's
really hard
it
to get
shouldn't be
normalized something.
normalized.
And it shouldn't be because it's what benefit does this have? It's just outlandish. It makes you look silly. It there's a lot of people in the furry community who've done a lot of really bad things, and they still need to really as a community come together and stand against this. And I can definitely find those like the other articles on there. I guess I'm gonna try to maybe we'll link that the leaks like
Yeah.
release. I think Mr. Macker did a video on that. See if it's still up. But yeah, because the furry community is not what CNN wants you to believe. Definitely not.
Yeah, and I'm on this site Fur Science, and holy fuck. It's trying to like it's a very like nice looking site and all that, and they're trying to really like make this shit like normalize hard. They're like debunking like myths about furries. They have furry facts, a free fur book, research. They have a furry like driving in one picture.
Oh god, I don't think that's legal driving a fursuit.
I
I
don't
think
think
that's a
so.
driving hazard.
Yeah, I think that's a bit of a driving hazard. You can't even drive without your shoes on. You can't drive a fucking fursuit.
Like honestly, I don't trust these people. They do not seem like they're unbiased at all.
Yeah. Challenging myths about furries and sex. Vice Media asks. Oh, I'm sure
Hmm.
they do.
Well, they have fan art over here.
Yeah, they
Oh
do.
god.
Yeah. Under
Oh,
the.
they're showing the cherry picked bits of fan art.
It's not even showing up on mine.
Furry's not a fetish. Yeah, no, I do not trust these people. I would like to have a third party, like reputable surveying
Unbiased,
organization
independent.
deal with this. Get like Gallup or something to do this. Oh
Yes.
God, Gallup. I'm joking.
Like a horse. Get
That would be
Pew.
fun. That'd be funny shit. Because something just, I think this is like a damage control organization.
Yeah, pretty much.
No,
Damage control.
like I don't know. I don't know enough about these people. I don't know what these people's relationship with the furry community is, and they're just asking them a lot of these things. Like, I mean, you kind of do for some of these surveys, but how truthful are these guys going to be when they know that if they say the wrong thing, it's going to make the whole community look bad?
Yeah.
No, they're gonna make. They want to make it like look how they want it to be. Like we need to go and get people look into how much people were diagnosed. Like I don't know how you'd even like discover that, but I'm sure Facebook can probably figure it out because they have all your information anyways. Like that'd be
Yeah.
an interesting that'd be an interesting field of study. Like have some guy like Facebook who's able to go and like tell you like do all this stuff because they'd be able to go and tell you how many furries have autism more than any other way because they already take all your information.
Well, they would probably be the most accurate, source in finding how many furries are out there, how many have autism, how many are pedophiles. Like Facebook could be used for good.
Well,
It's just,
pedophiles is easy to figure out. That's they have you can do a background check. You can do free like Megan's Law lookups. It's not that hard to find that
yeah.
information.
Oh my
All
god,
right,
this shit's funny. But we might do some follow up videos on this. But for now, I think that's where we should end this.
all right. Yeah. See you guys next time.
Yeah. Please don't become a furry. Don't convert. Stay normal and stay safe.